Good morning. It is Tuesday, the 28th of August, and I'm on the rooftop patio of the apartment complex that we live in. We've been here just over 3 weeks now, and I absolutely love this. I have wanted to get up here and make a recording because I really haven't done one since we've moved in, and this is it's not the first opportunity I had. I actually got up here last week at some point and made a recording. It was very quick, it was very quiet, a lot of distraction and a lot of coming and going, which kind of had me feeling uncomfortable, very self-conscious of talking to a video camera. So I started off and it wasn't bad, and had a group of people. They had a truck backed up here on the rooftop garage access, and they were moving, so they were walking back and forth, and then they were like working right behind me. So started off first 5-6 minutes and felt like I was covering everything that was on my mind and giving an update of what's changed in my life since we moved here, and it's all been for the better, which is great. There's a few, I wouldn't even call them downside items. There are just a few things that I need to work on, which I've identified, and I'll continue to work on that. But so once they came up and started doing that, I could tell that audibly I was talking lower because I didn't want them to be listening to what I was doing. Just very self-conscious of it, and I kind of shut down. So I ended up stopping the recording. I was processing that one and another video. The video I shot the day that we closed on the house. So the last time I had actually recorded anything was the morning that we had finally closed the deal and signed all the paperwork, and it was a very frustrating morning, and I was not in a good mood, even though I should have been. And I recorded that to kind of talk my way through it. I had every intention of posting it, but yesterday when I was processing it and thinking about the subject matter and my hostility and some of the things I had said and some of my feelings towards people that I know that were causing me frustrations, I decided that I was not going to post that. So I've archived that in my usual place on my external hard drive with every other video I've shot, ones that I posted and not. And there's numerous on there, and those will be more for context, I guess, later down the road, later in my life, when we're trying to add some scope to the things that I had done, to have those recordings that aren't necessarily the most beneficial and productive in nature. They're usually very hostile, or it's something that is bothering me, and I don't want that to take away from what I'm trying to do now. So we're just saving those. So I processed that one, and I was going to process the one that I shot up here, and I was like, you know what, there's really just no point, because it may have started off okay, but it tapered off, and at that point it was just really nothing. I was like, I'll just go back up and reshoot. So it came up this morning, nobody up here, it's wide open. This is probably my favorite place in this complex, and it's one of the things ideally that I was drawn to for a downtown environment. High elevation and a good view of everything. So we've got the Alamo Dome just on the other side of downtown, well within view. We've got the Tower of the Americas. We've got all the hotels around here. It's absolutely amazing view from this little rooftop patio. And we'll just my favorite thing to do is come up here at night and just sit here and stare at the lights, stare at the city, listen to the sounds. And it's one of the things that I absolutely love. we've been here now, like I said, just over 3 weeks, and I have been living the last 3 weeks like I'm on vacation. It's been fantastic. It's everything that I have ever wanted my life to be. We are in close proximity to so many different things, and I'm walking and I'm engaging. I'm definitely more active, and it's benefiting me. As much as I loved the house we just sold, as much as it suited our needs with the family and raising the kids, and how happy I was when we purchased it and moved in and felt like I had reached a plateau. I had fulfilled something, a desire that I've always wanted, and that was an amazing feeling. It was amazing 6 years that we lived there. But this is completely different, and I feel so much more alive now than I ever have in my life. Part of it is my activity level. I obsess about some things, and my step counter is one of them. I've for years now, ever since I've had these Samsung Galaxy phones that have these step trackers in there, I've been tracking my steps. I want to know how active I am being, and the first one I had a goal, default set to 10,000 steps, and I almost never ever made it, except for when I was on vacation, because I was so much more active when when we were on vacation. When we were, and it wasn't even necessarily vacation. Anytime we went someplace else, traveled, my activity level was much higher because I was out exploring. I was out walking around. I was out engaging in life. And in changeover, I got the next phone up or whatever, but the next one had a preset of 6,000 steps, which was much more reasonable for me to try and hit that as a goal realistically. And as much as I wanted to hit 10,000 steps a day, I mean, ideally that would have been great, but realistically, 6,000 was a more realistic goal. But I really struggled to hit 6,000, especially with my work. Working in property management, I either spent my time at my desk or I was driving. Spent a lot of time in the car, just sitting and driving, which was great for making recordings and thinking and processing where I wanted to go, what I wanted to do, but it was not conducive to being active. So I would get up in the office and I would walk laps around the office just to try and drive my step count out. I would occasionally go out for a walk in the neighborhood. We had exercise equipment, and I would get out maybe on the elliptical machine. But if I hit 6,000, it was maybe once, twice a week, maybe if I was lucky 3 times. I was averaging between 3,000 and 5,000 steps per day, and it wasn't bad, but I didn't feel as engaged in life by not being as active, and I really didn't realize how much of a difference there was until we moved down here, and now I'm averaging. I haven't had below 10,000 steps since we moved in 3 going on 4 weeks. So it'll be 4 weeks tomorrow that we got keys, and then Saturday will be 4 weeks since we actually officially moved in. But there was a lot of activity leading up to that. When I was working at Esquire, which I don't even know that I've even noted because it's been that long since I've made a recording. It may have been in the closing day. No, I worked the following week after that. So, I left Esquire weeks ago. The last day that I worked there was the Thursday after we got the keys here. So that it'll be 4 weeks ago, day after tomorrow. But I was parking right across the street, and then my mind is everywhere because it's been so long since I've recorded, and there's been so much going on that my mind is jumping all over the place, and it's one of the things that I've had to deal with. One of those I don't want to call it a downside or a negative or a con, but there's so many things that are influencing what I do or can do on a daily basis that my mind is, I feel scattered a lot of the time. Focus has definitely been an issue, and I'm watching the counter there and boom, 10:20. So again, easily distracted, but I don't even remember what I was talking about. And that's kind of what I've been dealing with. It's kind of the price of freedom. I'm definitely more free right now to do what I want when I want to do it, and it kind of gets back to that. I've been living on like I was on vacation. I've just been, every morning I wake up and I have an idea of what I might want to do. I have an idea of what I would enjoy, and I've just been taking every moment as it comes and living in the moment. My dreams since we've moved in here have been off the charts, unlike any other period in my life, and I really believe that it's the process during my sleeping hours of assimilating and sorting all the stimulus that I've been exposed to, of my body adjusting to the extra activity level. As I just said a minute ago, I haven't hit less than 10,000 steps since we moved in, and I've been closer to like 13 to 16,000, hitting 20,000 a couple of times, because I'm out. I'm walking around in the neighborhoods. We're walking to restaurants. There's a grocery store, an HEB that's a few blocks from here. We've been walking over there and getting little things that we need. I love the lifestyle that I'm living right now. This is everything that I ever wanted, and that is fantastic, but it's leading me to a certain amount of fear, because once you hit that level, and I plan to just continue moving up the ladder, but I'm human just like you, and I am subject to fear, and fear of losing what I've gained is on my mind. And it's not a lot. It's just been within the last couple of days, and I don't know what's been going on the last couple of days. I've been really kind of tense and edgy Sunday, yesterday, and this morning. I was extremely anxious when I went to bed last night, and I don't know if it was kind of had to do with the dog. The living in this environment with the dog that we have is, even though she's been in training, she's still extremely reactive. She still barks at other dogs and tries to go after them, which is why we put her in training, because we knew that she was going to be in this kind of environment. All in all, it's been much better than I could have even imagined it being, but there's still days where we end up in a situation where we're in close proximity with somebody else with a dog, and honestly, the people around here have no concept of controlling your dog. They just assume that all dogs are friendly because they have a friendly, non-reactive dog, but so there's a lot of people that are out and about with their animals that are not on leashes, or they have them on leashes and they don't have them under control. They're just wherever they want to go. And honestly, I was the same way. I grew up with very friendly dogs that it didn't matter what you could do that, and there was no concept of dogs that need more space. And it wasn't until we started doing the training and working with a dog trainer that we were kind of realized that was a possibility. And now that we have a dog that is like that, you're very aware of it. And so I'm constantly very much on alert every time we're walking through the hallways or we're outside, that if I see somebody coming that I think she's going to react to, that we either stop and I'm able to keep her under control, or we just turn around and go somewhere else. And unfortunately, it's gotten to the point where I've had to avoid certain areas, because there's certain areas that are nicer and you kind of have more of a draw to bring your dog into, like the dog run. We took her into the dog run like every night for the first week, and she absolutely loved it. I think that was one of her, she was so excited, and she still, I think, wants to go, but we were getting so many people coming in with their dogs off leash, and it was a point of stress for me because she's a big dog. She scares people, and it's embarrassing when your big dog starts barking and acting like they want to attack somebody, because it's terrifying. It scares people. It scares their dogs. It scares them. So it's a point of stress. It's a point of anxiety. And last night was one of those moments. We had an incident where we came into close proximity with somebody with a dog, and caused me a lot of. I mean, I tensed-stepped. I was just very reminiscent of when we were first started doing training and taking her out into the parks, and she was reacting like that, and my stress level was through the roof, and it was causing her to react and be even worse. And I've made some recordings in the past of talking about how much I learned about myself and how much my state of mind has an impact on her, but it's no different than living your life and creating the reality that you experience. It's your mindset creates that reality. So it kind of is it's a tool for me. It's almost a mirror. How I react during the dog training helps me see how I'm reacting, how I'm creating the life around me. So cycling back to how happy I am and how much I've over the last couple of days started to fear, all right, well, what if I can't maintain this lifestyle? What if everything that I've set out to do, what if I fail? Now, I've chosen a path with this writing and speaking that is very lucrative, but I've mentioned this numerous times in the past. I don't have any experience. I don't have any background in it, and a lot of the times I just don't know where to go next. And I do work with a writing and speaking coach, and he's been helping me sort through some of those and make those decisions. But there's still that fear. As much as you are being coached, there's still that fear of, all right, well, he's not doing it for me. I'm still responsible for doing it myself. And can I do it? That doubt. And it's really just within the last couple of days started to, I feel like I've been under attack by my own fear. And as much as I've been keeping it off and just kind of dismissing it, it seems to be present more often. And it's partially because I haven't really done any, I haven't really made any progress since we've been here. I've really, really been enjoying the life that I'm living, but I haven't done anything that I would say would be considered. I haven't made any huge leaps. Okay, so I finished the book, which I had done prior to us moving, and then talked to Patrick and decided that I needed to add a few more things to it. And then so I completed that, and then thought I was done, and then just found out that there's a few more things that I should add. And I've been working on those. So all those little details to the book that are above and beyond the actual content of the chapters is done. It's basically formatted, added in inspirational quotes for every chapter and a few other ones. I've got it plotted out and laid out for acknowledgments and dedications, which is the last thing that I have to work on. I contacted the editor that Patrick recommended yesterday and reached out to him, so he's just waiting for it. I just need to send it to him. So the last thing I really need to do is finish those acknowledgement and dedication pages, and it's basically it's ready for editing. So my goal is to do those today, but again, I feel scattered when I wake up in the morning. I wake up and I open the blinds and I look out at the view of our pool courtyard, and I'm like, I love this. It really feels like living in a resort. And I try to soak all that in, and I get up and I feed the dog, and then I take the dog out for a walk, and I enjoy getting out and moving around that early in the morning. So I've got 1,000 steps in before I even sit down and eat my breakfast, and to me that's good. That's the lifestyle that I want. I've been working out every day, in the gym. I've been lifting weights, getting back up to heavier capacity. I feel physically better, been working out, doing cardio in the gym. Plus, I every day, I almost without a fail, I walk 6 blocks down to get a tea, my afternoon tea. I've gotten into this routine and this pattern that's conducive to the way I live. I wake up in the morning relatively early, and I know this about myself. I know that I'm usually I don't wake up easily. It takes me a little bit of time I just don't spring out of bed and be like, all right, let's go. But once I get up and I'm moving, I feel pretty good and I'm pretty productive. It's my second most productive period in the day, between 8 and noon. And from noon to 3 or 4 is my least productive period of the day. It's usually when I eat some lunch, I lay down and either meditate or have a short nap, and then I get up and I have my afternoon tea and I reboot and refocus, and then from 3, 4 o'clock up until 6 or 7 is my most productive time, and it always has been. I learned this way back when I first started managing restaurants, and I was having to take time management classes. Working in a corporate environment, they were very big on maximizing your productivity, so they sponsored and paid for us to take things like time management classes, and that was one of the first things that they recommended. They pointed out, that's time management 101, is identify your patterns, identify your most productive points of the day and your least productive points in the day, and schedule your day around those. And I've been doing that for years, working in the hospitality industry as long as I did. You really couldn't take that into account. You could to a certain extent. Working in an office was easier to do that. I could be very productive first thing in the morning. I could take into account that lull in the afternoon and schedule things that didn't require as much vigor, and then that 4 to 5 o'clock where I'm just starting to get that build back into that higher drive period in my day, is the day was over. And then I would get home, and there's always that transition period for me. Transitions are always difficult for me, and I don't know why. And transition of going from not working to working and from working to not working, there's a buffer period in there for me of at least a couple hours to adjust and refocus my mind on whatever, and I have to take that into account. So for years and years and years, I was losing the most productive period of my day because it was a transition period. I was hitting it around 4 or 5 o'clock, and then my work day was done, and then I was going home. And then in that transition period of getting back into being home and being free to do whatever I wanted, I was having to, what do I want to do? Where do I want to apply this? And then I felt like, looking back on it now, I feel like I've wasted the peak part of my day for so many years, and I don't have any regrets about it. But now that I'm in a position where I'm actually utilizing that, it's shocking to me that I let myself live that way as long as I did. As a matter of fact, it's shocking to me that I've lived my life the way I have. It was all for purpose. If I hadn't done that, I wouldn't have the context, I wouldn't have the understanding of those dynamics, which is a valuable asset for me because it allows me to coach other people through that and advise to maximize the experience that you have. And it's just, I'm still almost in awe of every day I get up. It's only 9 o'clock right now, and I've been up since 6:30. I've fed the dog. I've already had the dog out. I've already watered the plants. I've already paid bills. I ordered a few things that I needed online, and I've been up here now for 25 minutes recording, and it's only 9 o'clock. So, and I've been doing this. This is what my life has been for the last several weeks. And again, I love it. It's so conducive to what I want, but again, that fear of how can I maintain this? Can I continue to move forward and create a life of abundance and be able to sustain all this? Because all this comes with a price. There's a price tag associated with all that. And I've really shifted away from seeing the price and living by price and just by living by experience. And that's where I don't want to lose. I don't want to get back into that. All right, well, now I got to count dollars. I got to count pennies to make sure that I can pay for that. I've gotten away from that, and there's that fear of falling back into that. So that's very important for me to keep my focus and my mindset on just experiencing that. But as I was just going through, my day is like this. I get up and I do things. I run errands. I do whatever up until about noon, 1 o'clock. I usually eat my lunch. I just chill out for my siesta for the next couple hours. Sometimes it's just laying in my bed looking at my phone. Sometimes it's just laying in my bed staring at the ceiling. Sometimes I go into a meditation. Sometimes I'm tired and I just roll over and I just straight go to sleep. And then I wake up, and somewhere in that afternoon period I transition back out of that state into this upswing of energy level, and I walk into downtown, I get my tea, I sit there and I watch people down there, which has been very beneficial for me because there's a lot of homeless people that live in that vicinity, and a lot of them hang out at that Starbucks. They come in, they get free water, they sit outside in the shade and just sit. And good people watching, good opportunity for me to be exposed to a lot of different people living a lot of different lifestyles. And again, it's all this extra stimulus that I am seeing that's having such a huge impact on me, and it's definitely having an impact on my dreams. Again, my dreams at night are always, they're not like anything I've ever experienced. Occasionally, and probably when I'm traveling, do I have dreams like that, because my mind and my body and everything is just processing everything that I've seen and absorbed throughout the day. So back to that schedule thing, I get my tea, then I come back to the apartment, and then I start looking around, and this is where I've had to make some adjustments. It's getting back into that cycle of embracing and utilizing that high energy period, because for years I would count down the day to 5 o'clock to be done, but that's when my energy level was coming up, and I may leave work and feel motivated, and then get back home, and somewhere in that transition period I lost all that. So I've been training myself the last probably 10 days to schedule things in that time frame. And for me, because of that pattern of 8 to 5 work schedule for so long, and being accustomed to saying, all right, well, at 5 o'clock I'm free, I can do whatever I want, but not doing anything, I'm getting into that point now where it's getting to be 3-4 o'clock, I have my tea and I have my upswing and I feel good, and I'm like, well, the day's almost over. Well, the day's not over at 5, even though mentally in my rhythm, my day was over at 5, because that was my work day, and my work day is carried over and was associated with just my day. And now I'm feeling kind of excited and invigorated and motivated at 3 and 4 o'clock, which is my natural cycle, and then I'm doing things during that period, and I'm doing them quickly and efficiently. That's when I wash the dishes and I make the bed, and I usually water the plants or tend to the outside patio area, and I work on my book, and I just little things around the house that I would have put off to that later in the day, and I'm being more productive now in that natural high energy period for me, and I'm training myself to feel all right about that, because the first day it was like, all right, well, to remind myself, at 4 o'clock, I'm like, well, the day's over. I haven't done anything important, and the day's over already. Well, the day's not over. The day's not over for hours and hours, and I'm at my highest productivity point. I should be utilizing this. So it was a mental process to incorporate that into my life, and now it's becoming more natural to me. I'm getting I'm having my afternoon tea. I'm feeling my reboot. I'm feeling my re-energized, reinvigorated state of mind, and I'm just doing things, and it's taken me to the 6 or 7 o'clock mark, and then I feel good about it, and then I start thinking about what I would normally think about at that time. What are we going to have for dinner? What am I going to make? Start plotting that out, start preparing whatever, so that we can eat. And I couldn't be happier with it. Now I mentioned some downsides, some cons that I've had to deal with. One of them is guilt. In living this lifestyle and living this way and being so happy with it, there's a certain amount of guilt associated with it, because there's that mindset that you have to earn your money, you have to earn your happiness, which, my chapter in The Abundance Factor was all about that. A lot of what I wrote about in Mastering Your Illusion is about that. It's breaking some of those mindsets that are associated with noble intentions, but somehow get distorted. Work ethic is noble. Earning what you get is noble, but not accepting good things in your life because you don't feel like that you've done enough to earn it is wrong. It's just straight up wrong, and I've struggled with that for a long time, and just been slowly and gradually allowing myself to enjoy more and more and more out of life without having to feel like I need to put more into it, or that I need to suffer to be able to enjoy those things. So in the last several weeks, feeling like I'm living on vacation every day and loving every minute of it, there's a residual background level of guilt that is sort of detracting from it. That all right, maybe I haven't earned it. What am I going to do to earn it? I haven't really suffered in a few weeks, and if I'm not suffering, then I can't continue to, and that's wrong. So it's making those mental changes as well along the way, and I feel good about it. I feel like I've really identified the things that could hold me back, the things that could bring me down, and I'm doing everything that I can to not allow that to happen, to continue my forward movement upward, and continue to create this life that I've already created. I mean, that's the biggest thing I have to remind myself on a daily basis. I'm doing this. This is real. This is right now. I am sitting on this rooftop patio, enjoying the view, enjoying the breeze. It's overcast today, so the sun's not beating down, and it's not 100 degrees up here yet, but it's very pleasant. But this is me. This is my life. This is what I'm doing. I'm doing it right now. I'm living. I have to keep reminding myself I am doing this now. I'm here. I created this, and I can continue to create, and I can continue to improve upon it. And I don't need to suffer to do it. And the thing that I'm trying to do now is, what's the best way to get this to other people? How can I use what I am doing? How can I use the knowledge and the wisdom that I've gained about living a happy, joyful, fulfilling life? How can I pass that along to other people? And you can't force it on people. You can't. I think that's where a lot of people in the history of mankind have gone wrong. They've found something good that really benefits them, and I think their intentions are noble. I think they want to better other people's lives, which is fantastic, but you can't beat it into somebody. You can't force them into submission and live the life. The only thing you can do is one, continue to live that life and try to be an example. Make yourself as accessible as absolutely possible. I mean, whatever you have to do to make yourself accessible, so that if anybody feels like they want your knowledge, your wisdom, your coaching, that they can come to you. Because I know from experience, the hardest thing for me is to ask for help, and I've very rarely done it in my life, and it's not one of those things that I would do. I would have to really be in a bad situation to have to ask for help, which is unfortunate because there's little things in life that you could get help with, but sometimes you create devastating and catastrophic events to justify the need to ask for help, or the desire to ask for help, and that's unfortunate. So I guess making yourself as accessible and putting yourself out there. I mean, I don't want to be an in-your-face marketing kind of guy, and I've been watching and tracking some of these other coaches, and I've been trying to expand my presence on social media. So I'm getting a lot of interactions with people that are of a similar mindset or similar goal in life, and it's just constantly a barrage of in-your-face marketing. I'm here. Come with, I can help you, and I don't want to do that. I understand psychologically the benefit of in-your-face marketing, but I think it's counterproductive and detracts from the message and the lifestyle that you're trying to create for yourself and hopefully pass along to other people by beating them in the face with it. So, kind of at a crossroads now, where to go, and what I can do to continue to promote myself, to generate interest in what I'm doing, and to generate a profit from it. I mean, the idea of abundance in your life is that you've got it coming in all the time, and I don't want to exchange time in my life for a paycheck anymore. I want to be able to help people, but you have to understand the value of what you're offering also, and that's where I've always undershot my whole life, is understanding the monetary value of what I have to offer. So it is, again, it is a very lucrative endeavor. You can make money in coaching and helping people, which is noble intent, as long as the money isn't the drive. Obviously, I want to continue to live the lifestyle that I'm living. I want to be an inspiration to others to pursue their dreams and strive for that high level of fulfillment in their life. And it's a subjective term. You can be fulfilled and not have $1 million in the bank. It's perception and perspective. So again, I don't want to deter people from seeking my advice or seeking my coaching, because my choice of how I want to live my life that may be different from theirs, because I can help people understand their own perceptions and perspectives and the reality that they've created and continue to create, and help them understand why and what their desires are. Help them figure out who they are, what they want to do, and live a fulfilling life that may be different than mine. And I've lived that. I've gone through that myself. I've lived in situations through my life where I didn't have a lot of money. I didn't have a lot of material possessions. I just didn't have an abundance of that. But I always had an abundance of resources. I always had a way to continue to exist and continue to thrive, even if it wasn't financially. And it took a lot of evaluation and understanding of my own perception and perspective to come to realize that. So now it's just a matter of figuring out how to, I guess, package and market what I have to offer, and actually figure out a way to deliver that. And I've gone back and forth with different ways to do that and what would be the best use of my time, but ultimately I haven't made any decisions on the best way to do it, and I just keep mentally thinking that it'll present itself. I just keep focused on what I want to do and how I want to do it, and the opportunities will appear to do it in the way that would best serve my intentions. So, as much as I would like to just sit here and talk about how happy I am and how much I'm enjoying this life I've created for myself, I have things that I want to do this morning. So, that's it.